si mjinga.
The presidency at battle.
Ambition must be controlled. It cannot be uncontrollable.
A president at loggerheads with his deputy.
Hata kama hutaki kuniunga mkono ni sawa.
To the politics of deceit and conmanship and betrayal.
By the time the president realizes again, my men are fighting for business, they are not really working, the citizens are up in arms.
At stake.
Tunajua wananchi wameshamkubali William Ruto. Rais wa 5 atakuwa Raila.
The highest office for the most powerful man in Kenya.
Hapo ndipo niko katikati.
And a president determined to stop his deputy from succeeding him.
Is he really going to retire? Is he really going to go?
Tonight, a special documentary on the big political game and the escalating showdown. March 2022. 5 months before Kenya's election day. Battle lines between the president and his deputy were about to be drawn. And the current tenant at State House will not hesitate to declare a political war.
Yangu ni kusema tu, nataka tuchambue haki na uongo. Hiyo tu.
At the Jacaranda grounds, Nairobi, Uhuru Kenyatta arrived to the welcome of top political figures in Kenya. They included Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Peter Munya, Professor Kivutha Kibwana, Governor Makueni County, Dr. Alfred Mutua, Governor of Machakos, Ali Hassan Joho, Governor Mombasa, Leki Nyanjui of Nakuru, and Charity Ngilu, Governor Kitui County, and Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka. The icing was Raila Odinga, Kenyatta's main rival in 2013 and 2017.
Ulipotoka shamba kuingia mjini, mimi nimekuona, uwezi kunitisha.
They had come to assure Odinga of their support come August.
Umeonyeshwa adabu na heshima.
And the work ahead of us after President Uhuru Kenyatta is tailored for you, and we know you are equal to the task.
The president had ushered in a new political conflict. He had resolved to say it as it is.
Ukijifukuza, jistaki we mwenyewe ni kwa sababu gani ulijifukuza, lakini usiseme kuna wengine ambao wamekufukuza. Umefukuzwa kwa sababu ya tamaa badala ya kutuliza tamaa. Haya. Umejifukuza.
And it began at the Sagana meeting. The president aiming at deconstructing his former ally, accusing him of trying to sabotage his presidency and his legacy projects.
By the time the president realizes again, my men are fighting for business, they are not really working, the citizens are up in arms. They have hated him. They feel they are disappointed. They feel disgruntled that things are not working well.
Nothing, and you know it, my friend Mr. President. You know it, that it is not true. You know it is false. Sini yule wa kujiapisha. Sini yule hana agenda yake TV mtialala na ria. Please.
The political conflict coming at a time the country is sharply divided.
So mnajua mimi niliunga mkono Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa jana nilimwambia ndugu yangu, hata kama hutaki kuniunga mkono ni sawa. Si namna hiyo? Lakini si uniwaachie tu ukae kando. Uniwaachie hii mtu ya kitendawili. Nimenyane na yeye.
Nobody wants anything to do with the project Raila. The Azimio project is unpopular in the mountain.
The Mathira MP is a long-time ally of President Kenyatta. He once served as his personal assistant.
Mkiweka kabiro mzuri na darubini, huyu mtu ya kitendawili anawezana na hiyo hasara.
But as the country heads to the August polls, Gachagua is supporting William Ruto. The man Kenyatta has vowed to ensure he doesn't succeed him.
What happened is that where our president, who is my friend, lost the mountain, when he found people who are not very accommodative to the way he was organizing politics, and they started grumbling, he should have listened to them. He should have called them and talked to them and listened to why they are unaccommodating. Instead, he became very arrogant, he became abusive, and he became very rough.
Deputy President William Ruto is not taking Kenyatta's punches sitting down.
You had the opportunity, you screwed it up, you did not do what was right.
He has been answering fire with fire.
Tulitengeneza reli ili tupanue port ili Mombasa ipate utajiri mkubwa. Lakini reli imetumika na watu wachache kuhamisha port kutoka Mombasa mpaka kwa shamba la mtu.
Then comes counter accusations. He says he has been betrayed by Kenyatta, while accusing his boss of name calling and intimidation.
Mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Gatondo, mbona Uhuru Kenyatta ananipangia? Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize, si mimi ndio nimesaidia Uhuru Kenyatta mpaka akakuwa rais? Tafadhali mwambieni asichukue ile kisu nilimsaidia ya uongozi akatumia kukata mimi. Tafadhali mwambie usikate huyo William Ruto, ndiye alikuwa ndugu yako.
His lieutenants escalating the conflict.
Wacha kutumia askari kutuumiza. Wewe Mheshimiwa Rais, hapana tumia KRA kuumiza watu wako.
Running the show, members of parliament from Kenyatta's political backyard of central Kenya. Among them, Rigathi Gachagua, Alice Wahome, Ndindi Nyoro, and Kimani Ichung'wah.
Nyinyi mumeenda huko, watu wa Gatondo mnasupport nani rais wa Kenya?
He has been very kind to the people who never voted for him and who were abusing him. You know, he is very kind to the people of Nyanza when he goes there. He's all smiles. But when he comes to the mountain, he is angry and abusive. And along the way, the people decided, fine, fair enough. If the president has gotten his last term, he doesn't need us anymore, it's okay. And then they organize themselves. By the time he has come back to sell a project, there is nobody who can listen to him. And I can tell you, today, he is struggling to look for candidates for Jubilee.
We want peace in our country, and this is how we are focused to get that peace as we go to the... But what am I seeing? I'm seeing the same arrogancy, all of us. We have an attitude of arrogance, the way we are speaking. We are even building that foundation again in emotional politics to our people. So you come out, you abuse. When something happens wrongly, you tackle it very wrongly.
Unlike his predecessor Mwai Kibaki, President Kenyatta is taking control of his succession battle as he champions for the candidature of his political competitor turned ally, Raila Odinga.
Jukumu ni lenu kujiuliza kama mtatafuta politician kwa sababu ya maneno matamu na matusi na porojo, ama mtatafuta kiongozi wa amani na maendeleo ambaye ataunganisha Kenya hii.
It has never happened before. A leader of a Kenyan ruling party has never campaigned for the leader of the opposition.
Yale ambaye tumetenda tukiwa pamoja na huyu mzee wangu, hii miaka 4 yazidi ile yote tulikuwa tumefanya huko mbele.
We have a community that has always been on the opposing side of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, being encouraged to vote for him. How many times has he traveled to Mount Kenya region to get to speak with the business leaders and being encouraged by their very own leaders to vote for him? So I think there's a shift in terms of the kind of blocks that normally exist.
And that is why it's a defining period in the Kenyan history.
Sisi tumetoka kule mlimani na huko vindu vichenjanga. Watu wameanza kufuata mheshimiwa Raila Amolo wakiongozwa na Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
It is not my duty, nor is it my responsibility to tell people or to tell Kenyans how or where they should vote. But it is my duty to remind Kenyans that they need to look at who they vote for and why they are voting for that particular person. There are those who will sacrifice interest over personal political agendas. And I believe these are the things that Kenyans need to look for. But at the end of the day, it is not for me to dictate to Kenyans who to elect. It is for Kenyans to decide what is in their best interest. And my hope and my prayer is that they would do that in a manner that looks after not their short-term interests, but their long-term survivability as citizens and the long-term stability of our nation.
The Azimio la Umoja team are not the only ones looking for change. For those in the United Democratic Alliance UDA, William Ruto represents a new shift.
Ati siasa ni ya watu wakubwa.
He is seen as the leader of the people who believe they could take power back from the permanent political elites.
Hawatatupanga kwa sababu tumejipanga na William Samoei.
You don't invest in the sunset. If you are a serious politician, you invest in the sunrise. That's why we have invested in the sunrise, in a new political outfit. We have picked the pieces. We have licked our wounds. We have retraced back our steps. We have learned from the politics of betrayal and deceit and conmanship of the Kenyan political infrastructure. And going forward, because we are political practitioners, we pay our bills. I pay my electricity bill and through politics. So we have gone back to what they call in the US situation room.
Kenyatta is determined to stop his deputy from literally riding to the house on the hill. He led the crowning of Raila Odinga as the presidential candidate for the Azimio la Umoja coalition and took charge of brokering a deal between Odinga and Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka, and more recently with NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua.
Kama wewe tumechaguliwa pamoja na umeamua ya kwamba jukumu lako ni kuwa upinzani ndani ya serikali, mimi basi nikaenda kutafuta baba, nikaenda kutafuta Wiper, Gideon, nani. Jameni, njooni munisaidie hapa kwa sababu mambo imekuwa mrama. Sasa wakinisaidia kutimiza ajenda yangu, ubaya uko wapi? Si ni mjinga hawezi kuenda kuomba usaidizi na nyumba yake huko inataka maji kuweka kuzima moto, na moto umewashwa na wale wako ndani.
Hata kama hutaki kuniunga mkono ni sawa, lakini tafadhali usitumie uongo. Tafadhali na kuomba bwana. Sijui kama tunaelewana jamani. Hata kama uko na mradi wako wa kitendawili, please, tafadhali usitumie uongo.
Mjinga ndio atanyamaza tu, awache chomeka akiangalia. Mimi lazima nizime moto. When you have somebody and people within you who you have shared and volunteered to work together and shared almost straight down the middle responsibilities, then you abscond your responsibilities. Then on the other side, you have somebody who you reached out to for peace and has asked you for nothing and supported you and helped you. Which of the two is a better brother and a bigger brother?
To understand the acrimony, you have to go back to Kenyatta's first term in office.
Join me, Uhuru Kenyatta, and my brother William Ruto,
And help us.
The bromance.
You could tell that there was some sense of brotherhood, which you cannot act. And I even remember within that period having discussions with friends, and they would say, I'm going to vote for these two because they look good together. I mean, compare them to the other five who at the time were just looking a little bit late to the race.
The consultations and the unity.
Hallelujah.
A 50-50 stake in government.
We had one parliamentary group, one government, one program, and it was all clear.
The bromance that had shaped the Uhuru triumph at the ballot had been transferred to how the president and his deputy conducted government, and more so, how they appeared in public.
In our first term, granted, I played my role as deputy president. The president assigned me many responsibilities.
I won't tell you, I don't know who used to call the others so that they can know what they are putting on. So let me not go into the same colors, because we used to wonder also. But then, I think at that time, the president also had a lot of goodwill. He wanted to see teamwork.
Just like the 2013 election, the duo navigated hurdles as a team.
I, William Samoei Ruto.
Mr. Kenyatta, would you kindly stand up and introduce yourself?
First, the crimes against humanity charges they both faced at the International Criminal Court, the ICC. At one time, Kenyatta temporarily gave some of his powers to Ruto as he attended the ICC case in The Hague.
Asante kwa kuchunga kiti. Well done. God bless. Thank you. Asante sana. Mungu mwema. Naona diary bado haina kitu unamaliza kitu.
The president, his deputy, and 4 others had been charged for allegedly orchestrating the 2007-2008 post-election violence.
Some of us walked that journey with President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto as their supporters, as their lieutenants. So when they were out of the hook, both of them in 2015, we decided to bring back the people of Kenya. The single most thing that divides the people of Kenya its leaders and their political parties. Political parties became ethnic based, became regional based. So we said, let's collapse, and we collapsed 12 parties into one single party. 12, you can imagine 12 parties, some of them with over 75 members of parliament, that is for URP and TNA. Collapse them into one party called Jubilee, with a symbol of a handshake. Tuko pamoja.
Then came corruption allegations. They faced off media reports and allegations from the opposition coalition led by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Under Jubilee, despite the tough talk, corruption has become our second name. This year, Kenya was once again ranked among the most corrupt countries in the world.
Wale wanatuambia ya kwamba tumepoteza bilioni 21 Kimwarer na Aror. Watuambie hiyo taarifa wametoa wapi. Ile pesa imelipwa ni bilioni 7. Na hiyo pesa bilioni 7 ambayo imelipwa haijapotea. Kwa sababu tuko na mpango ya sawasawa. We have a bank guarantee. We have a performance guarantee for every shilling we have paid. And if the contractor does not deliver, we will cash the bank guarantee, we will cash the performance guarantee, and public resources will be protected.
Sisi chama chetu ni chama ya kitaifa. Sisi ni chama ambaye haina ukabila.
Faced with stiff competition in their 2017 re-election bid, the Uhuruto duo mounted a well-oiled political campaign.
We saw the dividend. For the first time in 2017 general election, Jubilee got the highest number of members of parliament, 172. It has never happened, even maybe during the one-party system. Jubilee joined the league of ANC, you know. Jubilee joined the league of the Labour Party, or the Conservative Party, or the Republican Party, or the Democratic Party.
The only thing I think that was very delicate for Jubilee was the nominations, where the president lost most of his good people who would have been of good use if now they were in parliament or wherever they would have been. But nobody saw that.
Hii ni ngome ya Jubilee na State House utarudi. Na mimi nataka kuambia watu walikuwa kotini, Mungu awaweke, kwa sababu baada ya tarehe 17 wataenda kukuapisha, wapende wasipende. Ama namna gani?
In every sense, they appeared a united dynamic duo hinged on a promise that Uhuru Kenyatta will return the favor and campaign for his deputy when his time is up.
Tuhakikishe ya kwamba mzee huyu sasa tumupeleke nyumbani, asikuja kusumbua Ruto 2022.
And we wanted, continuity, William Ruto to take over, William Ruto to deliver to the people of Kenya, and then William Ruto to give to another Jubilee party.
We were excited because we knew this is the future. This is the Kenya we want. We wanted a Kenya where you can be in a party. You don't be in a party because you are a clansman or you are ethnic leader or your tribal chief is the head of the party. We wanted somebody to support Jubilee because of the ideologies that Jubilee stood for. We wanted somebody to support any other political party in this country because of the ideals and ideologies that stand for. And therefore, that was the moment for the country. This was a new dawn in terms of doing politics in this country.
But amid public display of bromance and togetherness, the apple was rotting from deep, and the grip between Kenyatta and Ruto was loosening in silence.
He believed in teamwork. Little did he know that teamwork will fail him, because it failed him. It failed him because people, instead of that teamwork that he thought, I am coming within to do the work that we are supposed to do, it became teamwork of competition. Yes, too much competition, intra-competition of businesses, and so you are, instead of working, now you have disintegrated, and each side is fighting for business.
By this time, Uhuruto Union was on the rocks, and one man, a close ally of President Kenyatta, knew it.
We will see him in his true colors. Right now, he was still wooing the chick. Now the chick will be in the house. Now she will see the man in his true colors.
And he predicted how the political landscape would tilt after the elections.
And the guy will nyorosha this place. That you can take to the bank. Oh yeah. He's been a bit kid gloves. What I'm saying is that in the next administration it will be gloves off. It will be bare knuckles. And it doesn't matter whether you're his brother, whether you're his friend.
Life had given the son of Jomo a political formula for success.
Watu wa sita wameamua ya kwamba watachagua rais. Tutaonana na wao kwa debe.
Threats, as witnessed after the nullification of the 2017 presidential election.
Na tukimaliza na uchaguzi, hawa watu tutadeal na wao. Msijali.
And mobilization. With Raila Odinga withdrawing from the October 2017 repeat presidential election, Uhuru Kenyatta was overwhelmingly voted in for a second and final term. And for William Ruto, the dream of succeeding his party boss was becoming clearer.
And we have resolved to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation.
But elections had left Kenya a divided nation. Members of the opposition refused to recognize the legitimacy of Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency. On the 30th of January 2018, Odinga declared himself the people's president.
In full realization of the high calling, assumed the office of the people's president of the Republic of Kenya. So help me God.
A move that pushed the country to the brink.
Kenya amechukua hatua ya kujikondoa utawala ya kiimla na kidikteta.
The president won with about 53-point-something% and Raila got 46%. In our context, that's almost 46% is almost 50%. And you and me know, and maybe I could ask you, what would happen if after that swearing in of Raila by a very forensic support base who felt that they have no way of ever getting into the mainstream of government, if that forensic crowd decided that they were going to storm State House, and State House, the GSU and everybody else decided to defend itself, would have a bloodbath. But that would even be a smaller bloodbath if you compare with what would obtain if that crowd shouting Tialala were to meet with the crowd of the Nairobi business community.
It is in this division that Kenyatta saw an opportunity to forge unity with Odinga through the famous handshake. And kickstart what will be the country's most protracted political divorce ever.
The president told me that he wanted to do things differently. And he didn't want what had become normal in Kenya, that this was Uhuruto. He wanted a Uhuru. And I had a discussion, a candid discussion with him. And when he told me that's what he wanted, and he wanted to run this government because he wanted his legacy alone as the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya, I was not fussy about it.
Hii kijana anaitwa Ruto, unajua kila weekend anatanga kila pahali.
What started as a slip of the tongue degenerated into a silent but vicious battle between the head of state and his deputy.
Ni wangapi wamesema tuache siasa twende kazi? Twende kazi.
Kenyatta says their fallout escalated after Ruto refused to negotiate with their opposition rival to prevent violence despite the loss of lives in parts of the country.
Wakaanza siasa ya kupiga ile serikali ambao tulikuwa pamoja kuunda.
We cannot have a country where only Kalenjins and Kikuyus come together to the exclusion of other communities. I think we want the Luyas to come on board. We want the Kambas to come on board. We want the Luos to come on board. The Kisis, virtually every Kenyan community should be able to come on board. Unfortunately, there are those within the Jubilee Party who felt that let us just have a duopoly of 2 communities, and the moment you try to bring these other communities, then it disrupts the political arithmetic that was potent enough to get the presidency.
Alafu juzi nilisikia mwingine akisema, unajua ati hawajawahi kuona nchi kama Kenya ambapo serikali na upinzani wanafanya kazi pamoja. Basi mimi nikasema ananijibu, basi wataona Kenya.
First, the DP was stripped off some of the roles he played during the first term.
He decided that whatever I did in the first term to coordinate the government programs, work on assignments that would consolidate our plan, he decided that he wanted somebody else to do it.
They were handed over to Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i. The first-term bromance literally disappeared. Kenyatta stopped appearing in public with the DP.
The president has a deputy who has challenged his authority. When he is asked not to campaign, to concentrate on development, he doesn't accept that. He organizes various campaigns all over the country. It means that the deputy president is not loyally working with his boss.
A very critical player is being both his office and his person. The kind of humiliation, the kind of treatment a constitutional officer. In fact, William Ruto is lucky because the 2010 constitution partly protected him. It gave him security of tenure. William Ruto could have been chased like a dog, the way, you know, Jaramogi was chased, the way Moi was mistreated by the Mzee Kenyatta's handlers.
And Kenyatta was not done. He went for what appeared to be Ruto's political muscle, allies. MPs leaning towards his deputy were kicked out of influential positions. Among them, Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, who was the Senate Majority Leader, his National Assembly counterpart Eden Duale, Majority Chief Whip Susan Kihika, Deputy Senate Speaker Kithure Kindiki, and Majority Whip in the National Assembly Benjamin Washiali
deputy president can only resign, or if the majority of parliament wanted to move a vote of no confidence in him. So the president has to use the option, the only viable option that he has, to try and control his deputy.
Former Jubilee Deputy Secretary General Caleb Kositanyi was also shown the door and was replaced by Cherangany MP Joshua Kutun.
And he became very rough to lead us. And he started, forcing things and punishing leaders who held different opinions to what he held. He started a very serious, persecution of elected leaders.
Then came the fight against corruption. As the battle intensified, Ruto's political allies found themselves on the cutting edge of Kenyatta's sword. And a good number were purged. Among them, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, former Cabinet Secretaries Henry Rotich and Mwangi Kiunjuri.
He used the criminal justice system against some of us like myself, used the asset recovery to freeze my account, used the DCI to harass me and prefer trumped up charges against me.
I will say that we as a government have done the best that we can. And even if you actually look at the situation as it exists, new cases of corruption these days are few and very far between, if you look at it over the years.
People are aware that 2-3 families have made money, serious money, in trillions during the era of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
This is power play. Each of them trying to appear to be the one who cares for Kenyans more than the other.
Even the border today are victims of a weaponized fight against people who don't share in the belief of those who hold the levers of power today.
But Ruto was ready for a fight.
Power is transient, and the people of Kenya will overcome.
He targeted hitting back at his boss when most vulnerable. And the Building Bridges initiative presented just the perfect opportunity.
While our competitors believe that it is through the changing of the constitution to create positions for a select few will treat our problem of exclusion, on our side, we believe that we need to change the constitution to create opportunity, create jobs.
From the onset, the DP opposed the idea. He called it a big person's plan to share power at the expense of the common mwananchi. It marked the onset of the hustler narrative, a them versus us campaign.
They want a president who will get ordinary people to create wealth using their businesses and enterprises. They want a president who will create wealth out of our agriculture.
Kenyatta won the first battle when BBI was endorsed by more than 24 counties as required by the Kenyan Constitution. The initiative wanted to alter the constitution on many fronts, but it is the proposal to expand the executive that presented the platform for political bickering.
And we said, let us discuss these issues. Why do we consistently have this issue? And one of the issues we figured out that is still very pertinent even to me was the fact that people feel that if one side wins, another side loses. So we felt we've got to come up with a situation where nobody loses. And what does that mean? It means two primary issues: equity and inclusivity.
And when it appeared like BBI was destined for the popular vote, the court struck and halted what had been coined reggae. And as the country prepares for the next political contest, William Ruto is accusing Uhuru Kenyatta of going back on his promise. The president has taken a leading role in the campaign against his deputy's presidential dream. Who will laugh last?
Bottom, bottom, bottom. Tuko bottom up.
Only time will tell. My name is Enoch Sikoli, and I am the Kenyan historian.